connecting to the cloud service. You guys, it is Earl Jones coming to you with the Earl Jones Show. And I have a delicious and amazing, beautiful mother. How many kids do you have? Three plus your husband plus a dog?
Yeah, exactly.
Five. Mother of five. So, so I have Michele Harkov with Compass Realty. She's here in the Bay Area. She serves San Mateo County and parts of Santa Clara County. She's been a real estate agent for what, 12 years now? And she is here and to talk about like what's going on with the real estate market in the Bay Area with the coronavirus, the whole nine yards. Plus, we're probably going to talk about like motherly things and like, because she's got a teenage son and, and how is she keeping the kids engaged and how she's managing all that other stuff that comes with being an entrepreneur and a mom and a wife and in the middle of a shelter in place for the state of California. So if you have a coffee mug or your favorite cocktail in a glass of some sort, here's to Michele. Michele, welcome to the show, girl. How you doing?
Thank you, Earl. Surviving. Thankfully, we're all healthy. So I think that's key. I think we can all count our blessings if we are feeling good, right?
We are feeling good, girl. How are you managing with them teenagers of yours?
Well, it's a little challenging. I mean, they have their online schooling. It's just a little bit of prodding and checking up after them, but it's, on the other hand, I don't have all of the appointments that I normally do, so I'm more accessible to kind of be there, but it's not just their online schooling. You got to make sure that they're maintaining their exercise and keeping up with sports activities so that when they come back from all of this, they're not, having to catch up in terms of endurance and cardio and all of that.
How are you doing that? Because a lot of parents, or I'm assuming, are trying to figure out like how do they keep their kids physically engaged if they were on the swim team, the track team, the football team. How are you and your husband doing that? Like, are you guys like, what are you doing? Talk about that.
A lot of hikes, dog-friendly hiking trails, of course, so everybody gets exercise. I think the one being that is benefiting the most from all of this is our dog. She's gotten more walks and more hikes than she's ever gotten. I fear for what's going to happen to her when things go back to normal. But a lot of walks, a lot of hikes, doing some cardio classes. A lot of places are doing online. Their soccer coaches, their baseball coaches are all sending us formats of agility training and cardio training, endurance training, going out and kicking the ball. Thankfully, we live close to a very large park, so we're able to take them out and kick the soccer ball or throw the baseball. And we have some things in our backyard. We're fortunate we have a nice sized yard that they're able to do some things at home. Yeah.
Have you adjusted their diet as well since we're in the shelter in place? Have you found yourself kind of going like, okay, we're not as active as we used to, so less, like, have you done anything like that?
Yeah, I will say it's been kind of nice to go through what we have at home and actually start using the food we have at home. It's been a very, from every dark cloud, there's always a silver lining to pull from it. And so some of the beautiful things is we're learning how to be more conscious of what we're doing, both with our time and our food, right? We're not being as wasteful. We were definitely not ones that went out and hoarded when we heard that everything was happening. We've always just gone out once a week to get what we need, the necessities. I think that panic and hysteria that started at the beginning of all this was just very unnecessary. And I think people are starting to realize that the supermarkets will be replenished. We'll all be able to get what we need. And so, they've been really busy with schoolwork and of course video games. So they haven't really been munching away. They've actually been eating better and healthier because we're more on top of what they're eating, because we see, you send a child to school with lunch, but you don't know who they're trading what with, and buying off the ice cream man off the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now switching gears from talking about the kids. Now you are an entrepreneur. You've been in business for yourself for 12 years. How are you as a business owner dealing with the shelter in place? You, not you as mom, just you, Michele.
Right. Well, so for better or for worse, when I got into real estate, it was in 2008, which was at the time when the market was tanking. And I'm not at all saying the market is tanking. I'm just saying I started this business in a down market when
Hmm.
people were fleeing the industry, and people were having to short sale and foreclose on their homes. And so, we made it, we survived. We'll be able to survive this as well. uh, Business is still proceeding. It's just proceeding in a different manner. We're no longer we're restricted from doing open houses and brokers tours and twilight tours, but that doesn't mean that if an agent wants to go and look at the home, everyone has to decide for themselves. There
Right.
clearly no one else is going to be in the home, right?
Right.
If the home is vacant, they're just going on their own. So we're still able to show homes. It's a great opportunity to really connect with our clients, right?
Hmm.
All this time we connect with them in a professional manner. Now we're connect with them from a spending my days calling my clients, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, offering to
Hmm.
go get food supplies or housing supply, housing needs, whatever they need, that we can help them. We have some older clients that we may not want them leaving their home. We have some younger clients with younger kids, and that's always difficult. So it's just about being there for your clients. I think real estate really is a relationship-based industry, not just with your clients, but also with the other agents that you work with. And
Right.
so it's a great opportunity to still show your clients that you're here for them. You're just here for them in another way. And if you think about it, everyone is holed up in their home. So they're
Right.
really getting a chance to see, hey, how's my home working for me? Is it working well? Do I need more space? Am I going crazy with the amount of people in the space together?
Right.
So I think when all of this is said and done, and the predictions is that, I'm not even going to predictions on that. Every day it's a day by day case on what happens in the information we receive. But once we are out of this, the housing industry is going to be thriving because there's going to be a lot of pent up demand. And people are going to start to see what their home means to them. Are we good with where we're at, or do we need to downsize? Do we need to upsize? So it's just about kind of shifting gears a little bit. We had one property we were getting ready to put on the market this week.
Right.
And since we knew there was going to be a reduction in showings, we shifted gears and now we're promoting it as an off market / coming soon. I've already gotten 3 calls from agents who are going to show the home this weekend at separate times.
Yeah, 'cause people still
And
buying
then,
houses.
yay, right. People
Oh,
are still
good.
buying houses. Yeah. There's over 600, I believe just in Santa Clara County, there's about 600 and some homes that are slated to close within the next 2 weeks. Because earlier in the week, the recorder's office shut down for a day, and
Right.
that kind of put everyone into a frenzy. Now they're doing e-filing. So everyone is kind of going into, like, we're doing Zoom conferencing.
Right.
I'm still doing my Realtor network meetups. We're just doing it over Zoom.
Right.
My office is still doing our standard Monday morning 10:30 a.m. meeting. We're just doing it over Zoom. So business as usual, just some shifts to it. We're
Just some
adapting
shifts
to
to
the
it.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Zoom, not that we're plugging in Zoom, right? But
Right. Buy
but
stops.
it's amazing the technology that we have today empowers us to still carry out, a new definition of new normal. But the
Right.
beautiful thing is that when it's safe to do so in this environment, you can still get out and go see a house or, the whole 9 yards and still help a client buy a home. Am I understanding you correctly, girl?
Right.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
that's good. So, but now you have a business partner. Her name is Liz, right?
Yes. Liz Rhodes. Yep.
Liz Rose. Now you two are talking via Zoom or text message or FaceTime. How are y'all staying connected? Because some companies, some people have business partners, and you know, it's it's easy to get lost in the madness of what's going on right now. So how are you and Liz keeping your business partnership tight?
Right. So again, business as usual. Every Monday we have our stand-in meeting, she and I, and then We also have our office meeting, and then we also have our team meeting with our assistant Irma. So everything remains as is. We had our calls on Monday like we always do. We
Hmm.
just did it over the phone. Liz and I are in constant communication about what's happening with our clients. We're still moving forward with trying to get some of the homes ready for market. Whichever industries, there's some industries in the construction business that are still able to do work. And
Oh,
so again, vacant homes, right? Vacant homes, and the electrician can go and fix some of the electrical work. The plumber can go in and do some of the plumbing. So we are just trying to move as forward as we can with the parameters that we are allowed to. And we're not letting this impact us negatively, right? It's all about like your perception is what you're going to create for yourself. So
and now
we
you,
are,
yes, honey, you told
right?
the truth right there, because it is about perception. Because some people
Uh,
are choosing to see this, because if you look at social media, the news, it's as if, like, Betty Crocker is getting ready to come back from the dead and come up with a new recipe for fried chicken, right? But seriously, I'm not joking. Like, the world is coming to an
Yeah.
end. But
No,
I
it's not
choose,
Armageddon.
yeah,
It's
but I choose
not.
to believe like this is an amazing opportunity for all of us to rediscover, like what are we capable of doing in the face of no agreement, right? Girl, is that you blowing up?
Absolutely. And you know, it is me. Yeah, let me turn off my phone, my mail.
So that just tells you
Welcome
all
to
that
my
she,
life. Welcome to my life. Quit, quit, quit.
yes, so she
Um,
getting business, y'all. She getting business. Cheers, girl. Work it out, honey. Work it out.
Thank you, thank you. Cheers, cheers. Yeah, no, it's this is a great opportunity for folks to do all the things that they didn't have time to do. So especially for us, right? One of the
Mhm.
reasons why our assistant is so critical for us is she's in the office in front of her desk and in front of her computer, like at her desk in front of her computer. We are out and about all the time. Now we have an opportunity to be stable in one location. So as I mentioned, it's reconnecting or continuing to connect with your clients. It's organizing your database. How many times, I mean, for realtors out there, we should really be doing this on a quarterly basis, reassessing our database. Who's still an active client? Who do we need to connect with? It's doing more online learning. Is there a specific app that you really wanted to be more skilled at? This is your opportunity to do this. Like, we need to take this opportunity and use it wisely, because once this is all said and done, back to flying 1,000 miles a minute. And
Mhm.
you know this is the time to be able to do the things we wanted to do and didn't have time to do.
Oh, that is delicious. Now I'm gonna flip the script on you and I'm gonna get personal. And you can tell me, girl, it's none of your business, is what you can say. But so you and your
This
husband,
is only coffee in here. I don't have anything else in here to handle these questions. What are you doing?
girl, girl, because let's be blunt now. Let's be blunt. A lot of folks, you and your husband have a very strong relationship. Like, you are yin to his yang. He's your yin to your yang, right? So between the kids and everybody staying at home, how are you two like tightening down the relationship and making it stronger through this? Because like, this is probably, for some folks, their relationship may not survive, but it seems like you and your husband are thriving in this, right?
Yeah. 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 So again, in a lot of ways, it's enabled us to reconnect more, right? Because think about it, two folks with a business
Right.
and
Oh, that's
three
right. He
kids.
owns his own business too.
No,
Yes.
no, he doesn't own his own business, but he's working, right? So
Uh-huh.
he works, I work. We have three children. We have a dog. Between our three children, they are currently doing 9 sports, right? All of their choosing. And we believe until they hit the high school age to just kind of keep them flourishing in different activities so they develop full body.
Right.
But we're constantly on the go. So now, I mean, we've done so many family walks and hikes together. We at night, every night, someone else gets to choose a family board game that we're going to play, or we'll sit around and watch a movie together. Or tonight we're planning on sitting and looking at old home videos, right, of when the kids were young. So it's been nice. We haven't reached the point yet where we're ready to kill each other. Talk to me
Whoa.
next week and let's see, right?
Right. Right.
But for
Yeah.
right now, we are enjoying each other's company, and there's enough to do. Sometimes the kids will go out and ride their scooters or their bikes around, or sometimes my husband will go out into the garage to his motorcycle, or
Mhm.
I have my home office in the backyard. I'll come out here to feel like I have a little bit of like some space. So I'm happy to go back into the house. And some of our friends are doing this thing where they're going for a walk, and when they're walking in front of your house, they'll call you. And of course, we all rush out the door because we're like, humans, let's see other people. And we just stand at our door, and they're standing at the sidewalk. We have 12 feet of distance, but we just sit and chit chat. So again, I have a friend who invited us to a challah baking Zoom thing at noon
Mhm.
today, where we're all going to make challah bread in our kitchens, but together. So I feel like there's a lot more togetherness than we had. I feel like people, sometimes when we're not doing things we need to do, the universe will put us in a position to slow us down, right?
Mhm.
Whether you sprain an ankle or break an arm or something, the universe will slow you down so you can start focusing on what's right. And apparently, maybe, I don't know, the whole world needed to slow down for a little bit to start refocusing on what's important in life.
Yes, yes. All right, girl. So good. So in other words, you and your man are handling business, if I'm understanding you correctly. We're gonna put
Knock
in
on
gold.
wood, we're all doing well. No divorce talks yet.
Good girl. No, 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 no. But hey, but earlier you had mentioned, that you're getting information about the market because you're very active in the real estate community. Is that
Mhm.
something that you can touch on and share? Because you mentioned that there's an expectation that the real estate market is going to just go boom once this is all over. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit more to that?
Yeah, so Brian Buffini actually did. So we have various places where we're communicating with agents. So on Wednesday, there was a Zoom call with about 20 plus local realtors. We meet every Wednesday at 9. We had a call instead, and we kind of talked about what's happening with the market, what are happening with our sales and our listings and our buyers and our sellers. So we're getting kind of the local market feel. Monday, we're going to have our office meeting, so we'll get a little bit more of a wider spread of information. But Brian Buffini did a great podcast
Now, who is
yesterday with
Brian?
Lauren.
Who is Brian? For
So
people.
Brian Buffini he's a coaching, he runs a coaching company that originally started for realtors, but I think now he might be looking to broaden. I think my thought is he's going to want to become a uh, inspirational, motivational speaker.
Okay.
But for right now, he's got a lot of realtors who are his clients. He's got a training program, and they don't train us on how to be a realtor. They train us on how to run a business, right?
Right.
Um, so he did a podcast with Lawrence Yun, who's the chief economist for NAR, the National Association of Realtors. If people want to go to the Brian Buffini podcast, it's episode 201, This Too Shall Pass.
Oh,
And
girl,
it's
that's a
got a
good
lot of great
title.
nuggets. Yeah, yes. It has a lot of great nuggets about what's happening right now, right? This is not what we saw in 08, 09 with the Great Recession.
Hmm.
The financial market is not in the same position that we were back in 08, 09. So there's strength there.
Hmm.
We're expecting this to be shorter lived than what happened with that recession. I mean, the economy is feeling it. There is going to be some side effects, but we can get out of it quicker than what happened in 08, 09. So, some of the things that he noted, and I'll give you direct quotes from him, was that, you know, maybe there's less buyers out in the market during this crisis, but it also means there's less competition and better pricing negotiations potential, right? And a lot of my millennial clients, and checking in with all my clients, my millennial clients are actually kind of looking to use this as an advantage point. This is what they were waiting for, was for something to shift.
Right.
Um, and so again, you can look at the positive or the negative in all this. We understand too that not everybody is now able to make a move. A lot of folks were using their stocks to use their down payments, but some of my clients have now shifted gear. Okay, maybe we're going to look at a 5-year goal instead of a 30-year goal and see what we can get into while the interest rates are still low and we still have
That's
funds that
love.
we're able to, right. But he basically says he predicted that over the next 5 years, 4 of those will be an improving year for real estate. Year after year, real
Hmm.
estate will be improving. He feels that what we're going to see is kind of a delayed spring market. So that maybe in late July, August, and usually July and August are quieter months for us. Believe it or not, everyone thinks the summer month is a frenzy. We usually start to see a little bit of a slowdown in July and August, and then we see a little bit of a slowdown in November and December. But I want to emphasize that in the Bay Area, we really are a 12-month real estate buying and selling community. We don't have the bad weather to contend with. So Liz and I, some of our strongest quarters have been the last quarter of a year when everything slows down, and we just have people who are taking advantage of less buyers, right?
Right.
And so for our buyers, it tends to be very beneficial. But what he feels is that we're going to see kind of a little bit of a move from our spring season, where it'll be more in late summer, early fall. And usually in early fall, we tend to see a little bit of an uptick anyway. So overall, it was really a very positive podcast. And I think right now, positivity is very helpful for everyone. I mean, you can look at the glass half full or half empty. The situation is what the situation is,
Right.
but we can control how we're going to react to it. So we'll get out of it, and we got to think positively and draw from all the positive that's coming from this. People are still buying and selling homes. The market is still moving and progressing. There's just some little shifts.
Just some little shifts. And I have my mortgage license, and the advice that I've been trying to getting out there is that if you're in the process of thinking about buying, now is the time to start the application process, because the refi boom is still going on. And getting that
Yeah.
pre-approval to buy a home is taking longer without that contract. If you have a contract, we can
Right.
still get you financed within 20 to 30 days, right? Because you got to allow for a little bit of wiggle room with the impact of the virus. But if you're buying and you need a loan, start it now, because
Yeah.
because if what you're based upon what you just said, that just makes total sense to start that pre-lending approval process now, because then by the time that this is over, May, June, you know
Right.
they'll be in a
Right.
better position to like have those boom, like right, ready to go.
Could not agree with you more. And then it puts them in a better position when they are dealing with a multiple offer situation, because if they even take it one step further and get underwriter approved, right? Keeping in mind the timetable, because their credit scores and such need to be repulled every 3 months or so. But if they take it a step further and can get underwriter approved, then they're ready to go, and they can feel comfortable with what kind of contingency periods they want to play with in an offer, and kind of prime themselves to be in a better position. An offer being accepted is not always about the price. The terms
Right.
of a contract, how a contract is structured, is way more important than the price. I've seen sellers leave money on the table because they had a stronger contract with stronger terms, even though the price wasn't as high as what someone else offered. But if I'm selling a $2 million home and someone comes to me with an offer for $3 million, but they have an appraisal contingency, the house is not going to appraise for 3 million. So what is the point, versus having someone come in at, $1.9 million or $1.950 without an appraisal contingency? That's stronger for my client. So it's not just about the price, and being strong on the financial side in terms of your contingencies and being underwriter approved, and working with a good lender, someone who can see the transaction to its fruition. They're critical in the success of a transaction. Absolutely.
They are critical, but I also remember you saying that it's also critical to have a very strong real estate agent that knows the area in which you're buying in. Because I remember you sharing about how you were able to come in and help your buyer. I believe it's your buyer, right? And it was a bidding frenzy, but you were able to get your buyer offer accepted because you understood the area. Can you talk about that? Because I want a lot of people to walk away knowing that it's not about price, which you've covered, which is really good, but I also want them to know that it's about making sure that the real estate agent they choose understands the area in which they are in, right? Or am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's not just understanding the area, it's also having good relationships with the agents as well. I feel as an agent, your reputation speaks volumes, because there's some agents out there who are not full-time agents. They do this, you know, as a side job to make a little extra money here and there. We definitely have had our clients offer accepted, even though they weren't the highest priced offer, because we had a beautifully put together package. We always present our offer to the other side. We want them to know we're developing that relationship, versus some folks, when I'm on the seller side, I will have never spoken with an agent, and then they just email me an offer without communicating with me who their buyers are, you know, what they're looking for. It's knowing who the buyers are as well. It's being able to talk to the lender and affirming that they are strong buyers. So there's a whole lot of factors that go into it. I think the example you were thinking of, we were actually representing a seller, and
Oh,
the buyer's agent, even though they were far and above higher than the other offers that we received, it was his cousin who put together an offer, who wasn't even from this area. He was down in LA. And so there's a difference between who pays what and how a contract is constructed if you're in San Mateo County or Santa Clara County. He filled out the contract in a Santa Clara County format. The home was actually in San Mateo County. He didn't have his I's dotted, his T's crossed. It was a very poorly written contract. And this buyer, in essence, ended up losing the house because he had an agent who didn't understand our market and who didn't put together an offer that showed that he knew what he was doing. So a good agent will absolutely make or break your ability to buy and or sell a home. It's funny because internet, with everything being readily available and online, everyone thinks, oh, well, I can buy the home. So we say to that, you may be able to find the home, but we're the ones that are going to help you get the home, right?
right.
And not just that, you know, we belong to several different realtor organizations and groups that are for top producing agents. And it's that 80-20 law, right? You wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time.
Right.
20% of the agents do 80% of the work. And we're in that 20% bucket, and we have access to that 20% bucket. And so we're able to work with people who are doing a lot of business and have the clientele. We always promote our sellers' homes to as wide a net as we can. We're global relocation specialists, so we have access to folks in Europe and in China and, you know, all over the world. So
Right.
we're able to promote our clients' homes worldwide, not just locally. But it's very important that you have an agent who understands the local market. There is a difference between buying a home on this side of the tracks and that side of the tracks, and we're talking to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars simply from being on one side of the street over the other.
Yes.
But it's also about having an agent who knows how to sell a home.
Mhm.
So it's a combination.
And I got just a few more questions and then we're going to wrap this up. So, for those people who are not used to working from home, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you have a morning routine that you do that keeps you grounded, that keeps you like settled, so that way you can maintain some sense of normalcy? Can you share that just to, as a one last piece of encouragement for folks that are watching this that may not be used to working from home, or a mom who's not used to having, have the kids at home that's, like this, like that piece right there, just to give people a sense of like, well, if it worked for Michele, maybe it can work for me.
Right. Yeah. You know, I think the more normalcy we can keep in all of this, the better. And it is business as usual. Nothing has shifted. You know, for realtor, because we're in and out of the office, we're used to home office as well. But for those who are used to going to an office, I would say find an area in your home that you can designate as your workspace and make it your workspace. Scheduling is going to be critical to making sure that you're staying on track. You know, have your morning routine. If you did, if you would go to the gym, okay, maybe you can't go to the gym, but you can go outside and run or do squats or sit-ups. There's so many online, exercise programs. Whatever your morning routine was, stick to it. And then, your phone, your calendar, what have you, make a schedule for yourself. Schedule in your lunch, schedule in your breaks, schedule in your calls. I always believe that in the morning we are at our best, we're most alert. So that's when I do my lead generation activities. And then usually in the afternoon is where I would go and visit with clients and have my appointments, but nothing's changed. Instead of visiting face to face with a client, I'm able to call a client or FaceTime with a client. So I'm still able to do client appointments.
Hmm.
I'm just doing face to
Oh.
face with, like I said, FaceTime or Zoom. So plan your day. Every Sunday I look at what's happening for my week. So I know who I need to contact and how I need to shuffle. Now, of course, there's fewer appointments outside, but I'm making up for those with making more appointments by phone. And then the night before, the same thing I always do. The night before, I look at my schedule for the next day to make sure I know what's happening. And I keep my kids on a schedule as well. We'll look at it the night before. What do you have going for your schoolwork?
Hmm.
Clearly they're going to finish things a lot quicker than if they are in the classroom, but they have their screen time, they have their, time to do it, and we break it up. You don't need to sit for, 3 hours and get everything done at once. Take a break, move around, get some fresh air. It's helpful to kind of shake things up a little bit, but keep your schedule. That is the most, if I could say anything, it's have a schedule and stick
Have a
to it.
schedule, stick to it. All right, girl, this is where I am going to let you get back to taking care of your clients. I appreciate the fact that you took time because this is very impromptu. So I love you for that and thank you. And the reason why I asked you to come on the Earl Jones show is because you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you got three teenagers, no preteens, no, they're teenagers, preteens.
Pre and teen, 11, 13, and 15.
Right.
We're all over the place.
Right. And you married, you got a lot going on. So I wanted, people, I wanted to get you on here because, you are positive, you're moving things, right? And, you're a leader and you're leading in the community. So thank you so, so much. Now tell people how they can get in touch with you. Even though I am going to put all of her information and the video at the bottom, but I still want Michele to tell people, like, how can they get in touch with you, Michele, if they are in San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, and want to talk to a real estate agent?
Of course. Thank you. So you can reach me at Michele at MicheleHarkov.com. It's Michele with one L. Or you can call me 650-773-1332. Happy to answer any questions. Happy to let you know what's happening in your neck of the woods, because we are microclimate. So every city has its strengths and weaknesses. So we can talk more about where it is that you're living and talk more in depth about what's happening in the real estate market in general.
Awesome. With that being said, you guys, Michele, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I miss seeing you like in real life, but I love this.
I love it too. All right, girl, take care. Bye.
All right. Bye.